Hello? Yeah, okay. Well, right here we are David Poe Sr., grandfather of, that's the grandfather of Edgar Allan Poe. And here is the original burial place of Edgar Allan Poe, the poet. And here I am at in the cemetery where this is the original burial place. So if you have dirt from this place, it's from this grave, because the other one is actually all cemented in, so you can't get dirt from it. But this is the original place where he was buried, and then he got moved to the other side of the cemetery. So, hello folks, I just visited the Poe house, and I got there just right as they were closing, because I had a kind of harrowing bus ride through Baltimore, where I missed a couple of buses, and I was the only white guy on the bus riding through the ghettos of Baltimore, which is funny because I was wearing this shirt, the DOA shirt, which was kind of misinterpreted by some of the people on the bus, which kept staring at me, and it took me a while to kind of figure this out, why they were staring at me. And finally somebody asked me, "Are you a Trump supporter?" And I'm like, "No." And they were looking at the shirt, and if you remember fairly recently, Donald Trump called Baltimore a rat-infested shithole. So he's not popular here. And I was like, no, I am not a Trump supporter. You want to tag RV head in this? Yeah, sure, why not? Tag. Well, do it, damn it. So anyway, then this whole really heavy-duty vibe on the bus kind of went away a little bit, but I was still like the only glaring white guy on the bus driving through the ghettos of Baltimore, and hence I missed, it wasn't like I was suddenly popular or anything. I was still the only white guy on the bus going through the ghettos of Baltimore, and yeah. Oh, yeah, why not? I'll just tag a bunch of people for no particular reason. Fred Eisen Ginther is watching. Hello. I am in the cemetery where Edgar Allan Poe is buried. And this is, I don't know if you can read this, but quoth the raven nevermore. Oh, and people have left money here. People have put their 2 cents worth in. For the original, this is the original burial spot of Edgar Allan Poe. He is no longer actually here. He is buried on the other side of the cemetery with his wife and his aunt, in a much bigger, nicer, which I just posted pictures of. So I don't know why this thing's asking me to post things. I'm gonna leave some money here too. More than my 2 cents worth, but I don't know what. Yeah, I think this is a Jewish tradition. But there you go, Edgar, and a dime. More dimes. Low battery. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Every time I've come to the cemetery, this thing starts sucking down my phone battery, so I got a spare. Close. Yeah. And Troy Walker is here. Hello, Troy. And wave, try and make these. Paul Root is watching. Hello. And yeah, so this is the church. It's been like redone. I don't know if it's actually an active church or it's some other type of thing now, but this is the cemetery. And there's a bunch of other Revolutionary War people. General McHenry is buried here, Fort McHenry, where the famous battle of Revolutionary battle, where Francis Scott Key wrote the blah blah blah. Go look it up. He wrote the big song that everybody kneels to and everybody gets pissed off. His grave is yonder over there, and Anyway, I didn't know this. I've only recently, in the last couple of years since I started hanging out in Baltimore, realized that Edgar Allan Poe's father and grandfather actually palled around with like George Washington and some of those people. So he actually had some influential people. That's why he's buried in the cemetery. Otherwise, a lowlife like Poe wouldn't have been buried in a place like this. And obviously this isn't his original tombstone. His original tombstone, I don't know. That's a whole lot of mystery and mayhem about his whole grave and everything after his death, which is very fitting of him. So there's some other people, I think, having kind of a private moment over there. I'm trying not to bother them. Stricker, I'm not sure what's so famous about him, but somebody comes and puts some flags on his grave. Beloved General is who he is. And there's some other people. Panel. It's a pretty cool old cemetery. There's, who's this guy? Local hero, Sam Smith. I'm sure he has a beer named after him. This guy over here is McHenry, I believe. Damn, even with the old battery hooked up. Yeah, James McHenry of the Fort McHenry, where the national anthem was written, is buried. This is where he's buried. And these are some of those graves. Robinson, Bernard von Kopf, some of those people are here. Yeah, I'm going to take you over to where Poe's current gravesite is. There's some other people visiting on Friday the 13th. I'm going to hipster dipshits. It's a pretty cool old cemetery. I've been here a couple of times before. It's kind of funny how people don't like to make eye contact. Robert Watson, 1778 to 1821. But here is Poe's grave, where he's buried with his wife and his aunt. Maria Poe Clem, buried in there. And I don't know if I'm going to get over to the spot where he died today or not. But 1809, so he's been dead for a little over 200 years. And there's no bottle of whatever kind of liquor that is. But David Luby is watching. Hello. Lots of fun history there. Yep. Yeah, I've been really digging Baltimore. And of course, Friday the 13th was a perfect day to come out and check out the Poe stuff and ride around in some of these neighborhoods. I've got a lot of pictures and stuff. This church has some catacombs. I kind of wish I'd set up a tour of the church itself. Here's underneath the church are more graves. I don't know if you can see under there, but the church was actually built on a much older cemetery. Yeah, I don't know if you can see those old graves, old gravestones, but I think it's in October. There's the mystery, the Poe toaster, who for like some 60 or 80 years would show up in the bottle of cognac and 3 roses, and he would do a weird little cemetery toast right there on that grave. And and leave them in a certain way, and then he just finally stopped doing it about 10 years ago. So they started a new tradition of the Poe Society, Historical Society, assigned somebody to do the toasting. Still have charcoal rubbings from both his grave and his marker in the Virginia. His old house there is cool too. Right, yeah, I'd love to go down and see that down in, that's kind of funny. Baltimore is known as Poe's home, but he actually lived